Hello and welcome to BBC School News Report at Elthorne Park High School. I'm Mia.
And I'm Sam.
Today's top stories are US presidential primaries, the junior NHS doctors continue their 48-hour strike,
And the fifth member of the Beatles passes away.
But first though, Bradley is reporting on the migrant crisis and civil war raging on in Syria.
Thanks, Mia. This is Bradley reporting on the migrant crisis in Syria. Currently, there are many charities helping in Syria and refugee camps all over the world. And I spoke to one of them. This is what UNICEF had to say. What are the priorities in Syria right now?
Okay, that's a very good question. I mean, UNICEF is focusing at the moment on trying to provide clean drinking water. But as you know, water is one of the things that you need. You can't survive without. So we're trying to provide water to the places that don't have it yet because of the conflict. There's a lot of areas that were cut off from the water supplies. So providing that is a priority, as well as water and sanitation. So things like bathrooms and that kind of thing. We're also focusing on vaccinating the children because when they've moved out of where they normally live, their access to health facilities has struggled as well. So they haven't been able to go for their regular checkups. As you may probably already know, children need this, especially in their very early years. So we're focusing on vaccinating children. And our focus this year, our aim is to try and vaccinate 2 million children from diseases like polio. So we're focusing on that too. We're focusing on nutrition, trying to make sure children have access to food so that they can continue to grow healthy and strong. Education is another big one, and psychological support, because children that have been in those areas have been through a lot psychologically. We want to support them in those ways too. So those are the main priorities at the moment for Syria.
So what is your opinion on the situation at the moment?
The situation at the moment is very, very dangerous for children. I mean, 13.5 million people in Syria are still in need, and around half of those are children. And as the war continues, there's more things that tend to be destroyed, things like access to water, things like access to hospitals that keep being destroyed. And so the people that really bear the brunt of it the most are children, because they can't look after themselves. They need people to look after them. So the situation in Syria is getting worse for children, unfortunately. That's why we want to step up our work there and continue to work harder until every child is protected, until every child is safe.
Thank you, bye-bye.
No worries. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you
for your questions. They were great questions.
Thanks. Right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. More than 250,000 Syrians have lost their lives in this tragedy. And this is what charities like UNICEF are trying to stop. Many countries have and will be affected by the civil war, being intensified by the number of extremist groups rising quickly in the Middle East. Migrants are travelling far and wide to enter Europe, but many have died on the journey. That is the latest update on the Syrian crisis. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Bradley. Now over to regional news with Lily and the brand new Elizabethan line.
Lily here reporting for BBC School Report. I'm outside West Ealing Station, which is part of the Crossrail line. There's going to be a new train line in London called the Elizabeth line. It's named after the Queen, and the line is going to be purple to represent her royalty. The line will open in December 2018, and it will run from Reading right through to Essex. Once the line is fully open, it should be able to hold around 500,000 passengers throughout the day. So I asked local residents, what do you think the benefits are of the new line?
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to hear that the new Crossrail station will be West Ealing, because from my point of view as a local resident, it's going to really improve the area. I went to a meeting last week by the local council who was telling us that the local area is going to see some new shops, some new restaurants, more housing. So I think it can only be a good thing for the local area. However, as a local resident only living a minute or so from the station, I have noticed an increase in noise recently due to the building works and the train work. But I suppose it's a small price to pay for what will be eventually a really fantastic thing for West Ealing.
Thank you.
I don't think there are any benefits.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as a concerned resident, when you can hear the noise that's going on from the construction over here, can you imagine what the sound's going to be like for a train line? The amount of money that's going to be cost.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's the right time. And you've got to think about the environment as well.
I think it's going to benefit me a lot because I'm going to get into work like half an hour quicker. I think it'll take about 12 minutes. I'm really looking forward to opening.
That's great.
Looking forward to that, Lily. Moving on to the NHS doctors' 48-hour strike. Over to you, Simran.
Today is the second day of the 48-hour junior doctors' strike. Doctors walked out at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, and over 5,000 operations were cancelled before this action. So far, 19,000 operations and treatments had to be postponed because of this industrial action. Thousands of checkups, appointments, and tests have been affected as well. It also urged patients to go to hospital only when necessary. If people need medical help, and it's not an emergency, they should consider NHS choices, the local GP, or any pharmacy.
Hello.
So, how has this strike affected your work?
Well, it hasn't really affected my work as a GP because I'm a GP. Most of the doctors on strike are junior doctors who work in hospitals. So in the surgery it hasn't made much difference, but when I teach the trainees, some of them do work in hospitals, so when they were on strike yesterday, we had to cancel that session.
And what's your opinion on this strike?
I think it's really sad that junior doctors who are very dedicated, hard-working professionals feel the need, for the first time in many years, to go on strike. They wouldn't do it unless they felt very strongly that they had to. They don't want to affect patient care. So I feel they've been put in this position, and it's very sad.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Doctors are providing emergency cover only during the walkout, which ends on Friday morning, and consultants, nurses, midwives are all working in the hospital as usual.
Now, on to a sadder note. Eleanor has the latest updates on the death of the fifth member of the Beatles.
Welcome to Music News. My name is Eleanor and I will be your reporter today. 2 days ago, Sir George Martin, known as the fifth member of the Beatles, tragically died in London at the age of 90. His career lasted through 6 decades and he is most famous for producing hit singles for the Beatles, Stevie Wonder, Cilla Black, Elton John and many more. Paul McCartney has paid tribute to Sir George and has said he earned the title of fifth Beatle. Paul Gambaccini, a music journalist, said, George was interested in creating a painting instead of a photo. He wanted to help them achieve what they wanted to convey, not just capture their performances. I am now joined by Jess and Mia, 2 fans of the Beatles and their work. So Mia, do you think Martin's legacy will live on?
Definitely, because he's such a big icon in the music world, and the music he's produced is still popular to this day.
And Jess, what is your favourite song produced by George Martin?
A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles, because it's such a good song and it's just so catchy.
So George Martin's songs are iconic and he will be remembered for his work. For more information, check out the BBC News website. Back to the studio.
Now on to Megan, with a new Elthorne Park High School extension being built.
Hello, I'm Megan, reporting for BBC School Report. After 5 years of waiting and 3 years of planning, Elthorne Park High School are finally expecting a new building as of November. So I thought I'd ask Mr. Wong, their head teacher, what all the fuss was about.
Hello, Mr. Wong. Why was there a need for a new building?
We are expanding from 6 forms of entry to 8 forms of entry because there are a lot more students in the local area.
Okay. When is the building estimated to finish?
We are hoping to get some of the building handed over to us in October and the rest of the building in November, but certainly before Christmas in 2016.
Okay. What are you most excited about in the new building?
I'm excited about a lot of it. I suppose the thing that I'm most excited about is the new performance suite, which is the drama studio, and the fact that we're going to have a proper home for our performances, music and drama. That and the new library, that's very exciting as well.
What positive effects do you think it will have on the school?
I think that having state-of-the-art facilities, brand new classrooms, new computing suites, shows both the students, the staff and the parents how much we value their education. I think they'll have a really positive effect because of that.
Are there any concerns that you have about the new building?
I don't think I have any concerns. I hope that it will be ready on time. I'm confident that it will be. It's going to be a great building and facility and all of the other landscaping around. So no, not really.
How will the new building affect the students in the school?
It's going to have a really positive effect because we are replacing most of our classrooms and putting in extra facilities, and the library, the hall, means that we won't have to double up and still use the canteen for exams and drama lessons and things like that.
Sounds exciting. Thank you, Mr. Wong. That was Megan reporting for BBC School Report. Back to the studio.
Next over to Mia with her top 5 films in the cinema.
Hello and welcome to Film News. I'm Mia and I'll be your reporter today. With Easter right around the corner, many people probably have plans to go to the cinema to see an action-packed or hilarious film. But what is there? Well, by looking at critics and user reviews and ratings, we've put together a top 5 list of new and old releases. At number 5 is Alvin and the Chipmunks The Road Chip, where Alvin and his furry siblings take to the road to try and stop their owner from doing something that they feel is a massive mistake, starring Jesse McCartney, Justin Long, Matthew Gray Gobler and Tom Hale. Coming in at number 4 is Goosebumps, where Zach Cooper moves to a small, sleepy town and makes friends with the girl that lives next door, Hannah, who just happens to be the daughter of famous author R.L. Stine, who immediately takes a disliking to Zach, starring Dylan Minnette, Jack Black and Odia Rush. Shooting in at number 3 is Daddy's Home, where Brad Taggart, Will Ferrell, struggles to connect with his kids who are still attached to their biological father, Dusty Marron, Mark Wahlberg. But it doesn't get any easier when Dusty comes to visit. Sneaking in at number 2 is Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. When encompassing the symbol of the Mockingjay, Katniss Everdeen must lead the districts of Panem in the furious rebellion against the autocratic and corrupt ruling of the capital, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. And finally, winning the number 1 spot on this list is Star Wars The Force Awakens, where newcomers Daisy Ridley and John Boyega team up with the originals to fight against the dark side and new villain Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. Now, if you're a fan of martial arts, make sure to go down to a cinema to see Kung Fu Panda 3, soon to be released on Friday 11th of March. I hope that helped you decide what to go see this Easter. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Mia. Moving on to a different aspect of the news, we join Archie with the latest on sports.
Hello, this is Archie reporting from the BBC School Report. Here is today's sports news. Interim manager Gus Hiddink said that Chelsea are in a transitional period after losing 2-1 to Paris Saint-Germain last night. This is the second year in a row that they have lost to PSG, last time losing on away goals, 3-3 on aggregate. Chelsea were playing well in the first half, with Costa putting pressure on PSG's back four. But it seemed like half-time came at the wrong time because Chelsea had lots of momentum. Chelsea didn't come out with the same flair as they did in the first half, but Diego Costa was still putting on a good show until he came off because he had pulled his hamstring. Another blow to the Chelsea team was that Eden Hazard limped off with a groin injury. He got a mixed reception from the Chelsea fans because he had a poor start to the season. Another incident involved him swapping shirts with PSG's Angel Di Maria at half-time. Gus Hiddink said, "It doesn't matter." So bad news for Chelsea fans, but Paris Saint-Germain will be going on to the next round. Back to the studio, Mia and Sam.
Finally, we have Jess with an unusual report on dogs and their emotions.
This is Jessica reporting for Human Interest News. Dog owners often say that they know that their dog understands how they're feeling. Now, scientists have the evidence to support this theory. Dogs can recognise the emotions of humans by combining different information from different senses, an ability that has never previously been observed outside of humans. The researchers presented 17 domestic dogs with combinations of images and sounds which evoke happy or aggressive emotions, or even conflicting emotions, such as a combination of a cheerful face and an angry voice. Studies reveal that dogs have the ability to combine two different sources of sensory information, forming an emotion that they can understand.
We're here with Mia, who owns a French Bulldog. Have you ever felt that your dog reacts to your emotions?
Sometimes, depends. When you're happy, she gets more excited. But when you're sad or hurt, she tends to be a bit more close to you. Like once I bashed my knee on a door frame and she just stuck with me more than usual.
So now we know that dogs do not simply react to human emotions, but can understand them. Back to the studio.
That's all for today.
Bye from us in the studio.
And have a brilliant evening.